Woohoo! Here we are, folks, and we are live on Hex Token channel, the PulseX live show. So we're going to be getting to lots of stuff. There's so much happening. We said there was going to be a lot of happening, and it is happening for sure. So it's going to be pretty exciting to see all this play out. And I'm just going to check the audio, make sure it's up and running. There it is, looking good to me. So let's get into it, folks. So here is, we're going to start off pretty cool. We're going to get into the highest of stakes. We're going to get into what else we're going to do. What else? We're going to look at the Hex God Whale. Man, oh man, oh man, 1 billion Hex stake. Amazing. And of course, $200 million US, more than a small countries in Latin America are buying Bitcoin. That is pretty crazy out there. And of course, we're going to look at the Daytona 500, the Hex Toner car. And of course, with JJ Yeley. And we're going to check out that as well. We're also obviously going to get into PulseX in the main results, but we're doing things in reverse order today. So we're starting off with the highest of stakes. This is a sneak preview, folks, sneak preview from the highest of stakes team. So big hats off to them. We always love it when they give us a few little teasers out of the film. So it's going to be fun. That's where we're going to start off with. We've got a few people in the chat. We've got Fish Tank in the chat. Hey, Fish Tank, #1 again. And woohoo! And Philip's got nice, man. And of course, welcome from Hex Token channel. If you haven't subscribed, smash that like button. And of course, hit the bell for future videos as well as share. That is really useful. If you want to join as a channel member, hit the join button. We've got Pulseskins, Hexskins, and the Richard Hart Club. And we're not going anywhere. We're going to be here promoting non-stop all into the future, well into the future, when millions of people will be using Pulsechain, and we will be parting in our own Ferraris and Teslas and things like that. So cool. All right, so here we are. We got the emojis in the house, so we're pumping those. Tiers in the house. Let's go. Woo-hoo-hoo. And we've got Brownies in the house, Hex Token channel member, and the winner of the 2022 Daytona is the Hexskins, absolutely, with a few rockets there. Solix is in the house. Good morning. What about the Hex Godwell? We're going to talk about that. Solix, just be qualified in racing on the Daytona 500 without being first. It's a huge marketing. It is massive. Just getting on the racetrack is massive. If you've been there, you can sense the whole racetrack sort of is alive when those cars are going around with the noise of those engines. It is a beautiful thing to watch, and the speed, of course, is stellar. It really is an alpha place to be. That's for sure. Alex Fame says, woo-hoo-hoo. Feels good to be seated and strapped in. Absolutely. Brownie says 194 million stake for 555. That's sure to make a green candle too. Definitely. Well, we're going to look at the Hex price later on. And Morris is in the house live and real. Whoop. Yeah, absolutely. And this now another Hex Token channel member. Woohoo! In the house. Great to see you as you always. Joining on again and again. Yeah, why do you do that? Joining on again. 5 and back the dollars. That's the one. And Tin Top's in the house. What's up? What's up? I don't know if you've seen Scary Movie, but that is so classic. What's up? Also a little terrifying if you're a bit if you hate even comedy horrors. Cryptic Freedom says, "What's up, Hexskins? Woohoo! Let's go!" And that Pulse player is in the house. Hey, brother, good to see you in the chat. Always good to see other people jumping in there. Don't forget to get in the chat, folks. Get lively. It's all about the community. We're going to enjoy the journey on our way to awesomeness. So just get into that. I've got a couple of comments to make about some comments that other people have made on their videos, content videos. So there we go. We're going to touch on that later on. And of course, there we are. We're going to have check that out later. Hey, g'day, Cuzzy Bro says Oswatts. Hey, Oswatts, good to see you in the house. And g'day, mate. G'day, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie. That's the way we go. And a few Bintang beers. That's the way we go. Nice. Let's get into the video, folks. Here is the highest of stakes sneak preview from the film documentary. And of course, not due out till about January 2023, but maybe earlier. Let's check it out.
You ever thought about dieting? I think this place is kick-ass. I love the fact that there's two waterfalls and a gator. It's a crocodile, might be a gator in Florida. And then there's a hot tub, which I hope gets hot soon because I want to hop in it. I want to get my soak on. Yeah, this place is killer, man. Absolutely killer. 3 floors, 4 floors. Count all the stuff on the roof. Tons of height. I absolutely love the height. It affects the acoustics too. In a place like this that has a ton of hard surfaces. So usually, if I bring someone here, it's sexy time. So, guys with me, I'm not ready to bring them. Lost. I've not been out here. Maybe it's good. Let's check it. Oh, Richard, are you strong enough? Are you man enough? I don't know how this shit works, dude. Up, down, left, up. I'm not even sure this is a house, man. This is too cool to just be called a house, I think. Yeah, this is nice. Well, this is cool. It's got a soda water, a clear water. It's okay. Look at this. Hidden. Look at this. A hidden towel thing. I don't even know what it does. This door is actually absolutely amazing. Might be the coolest door I've seen. Where is the downstairs? This way. Yeah, this is great. I think it's a fire pit, but I don't know how to use it. I mean, it looks like it's something you'd burn your legs on. Ah! What is that, man? Brent just about went down to a hidden tripwire. When I was a kid, we would set up these tripwires in the woods and just fuck people up. Like, we would also beat each other for some reason. So I had a rope, and we would just put a bunch of these washers on the end, and we would, like, you know, play a game where you got to jump it. And boy, if you didn't jump it right, that thing would wrap around your leg and hurt you. We used to do all kinds of silly shit when I was a kid, man. Chinese stars. You'd be surprised. Chinese stars aren't as awesome as you think they are. It's really not that great.
So there you go, folks. That is that's showing a bit of a sneak peek there. That was pretty cool. And of course, learning a bit more about Richard as well. That's pretty nice. So I think, you know, let's enjoy that as they come out. They're going to give us more sneak peeks. I think that's pretty cool. Let's jump out of there. So there we are. A special sneak peek of Richard Hart touring his villa in Spain for the first time with Brent Morrissey. This clip brought to you by the generous support of Rackham Rochelle. And of course, please send them your likes. Of course, Rackham Rochelle is the biggest whale on Pulsechain, and I mean PulseX. So pretty awesome there to see that. So big shout out. We're going to love to see more and more of those. So big shout out to Rackham Rochelle for sure. All right, so that was coming out, and of course, Rackham Rochelle actually, I think this is the tweet here. Rackham Rochelle had a comment here 13 hours ago. Heist of Stakes blooper bonus, community funded edition that contains many bloopers. We just need to ensure that one, they would even approve it, and two, it's funded thoroughly. So it's wonderful to see Rackham's passion into this project. So very cool on that. So big shout out. So that was pretty much the first one there, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me just close that out, and we're going to pull up the next section. Let's go. All right, let's stop screen. We're going to share the screen. Let us go to the screen here. Bam, and there we go. So we've got the full screen back. Let's jump over to, of course, the Richard Hart's Twitter. And, of course, this is the big news of today. Outside of that, we've got 194 million US just staked 12 hours ago for 5,555 days. And if you like it in years, that's 15.2 years, folks. 15.2 years. And that's 149,000 T-shares. Almost 150 if you want to round it nice and easy. Man, oh man, is that amazing or what? And of course, that is the Hex Godwell has staked that. So pretty cool. That came out of another wallet. So just goes to show you that these big whales have many wallets, and tracking them all is not always that easy, especially when they use centralized exchanges to lose the track, as it were, lose the track. So pretty awesome. And we can actually see that on the blockchain. We can see the Hex Godwell accounts here. 39C5, of course, 32,000 ETH, of course, a Genesis Ethereum holder. It's worth $100 million at the moment at 3,147. Obviously, the Hex Godwell also pushed a lot of Ethereum into USD stables, given the volatility in the market for Ethereum and the pullback. We had a half bear pullback, you remember, about 50% or so. And of course, there we are, $73.5 million in stables there, just in this account. Pretty interesting. Now, the other interesting thing, of course, is that he moved his Hex out. That's been sitting there for a long time. 188.5 million Hex was moved out of this account into the same wallet that actually moved it out into the same wallet that actually did the 1 billion stake. So you can see that stuff came in. Where is it here? So you can see it came in here 13 hours ago, the 188 million Hex. And then, of course, a stake came out of this address. And, of course, that was 1 billion Hex. And it came out. And then, of course, that billion went into stake for 15. The 829 million that went into stake for 15 years, 0.2 years, 5,505 days. So they had 829 million in there, and also the 188. So pretty crazy stuff. Still in this account, still got $3 million of Ether plus 164 million Hex there, worth 32.5 million US dollars. So money all over the place for these big giant whales. That's just the way it is. Pretty insightful, eh? So there we are. Hex God Whale is doing a beautiful thing. 15.2 years now. That just shows you the incredible belief in the system. And so hats off to the Hex God Whale. Hats off to Rack and Rochelle and Overwatch, of course, doing their thing. And man, it's looking good. The big whales are out at play, that's for sure. We got Matt and Barley says checking in today for real uncensored news. No bull, says Matt. Absolutely, Matt. I love that stuff. Well done, Matt. And I posted some cool emojis in the chat there. Very cool. If, what else? We got HODL 4 is in the house. What's sad is the quality. What did the film that on a potato says HODL 4. And here's what I say, HODL 4. What will happen with the film edits? They'll have a whole storyboard. They'll have a whole ton of high quality stuff. They will edit stuff out. So even if we're seeing sneak peeks at the moment, it's just probably just a sneak peek of the filming. And I doubt that the final piece will actually, with the sneak peeks, we'll actually see much of the final movie. That's my guess. We'll probably end up having quite a few things. You know how when an editor gets to the editing, at the end they change things up a lot. So I would take that into account there too, HODL 4. It's now says the quality is the compression of the stream. Yeah, that's true too. And Matt and Barley says Canada now apparently blocking people's bank accounts with no court order. Freedom is being taken away every day by corrupt corporations in collaboration with the corrupt government. I 100% agree with that, Matt. It's terrifying. Unfortunately, there's a lot of sheep out there that just don't realize what's happening with their rights and that they've been compromised, and also many other things. They're taking more power. So unfortunately, people who don't care will end up being ruled, right? And they'll wake up one day realizing, oh boy, I can't do this, I can't say that, I can't even think this. And so that's what happens. So once again, we're all here. I certainly like to stand up for freedom and support anyone else that does as well. Tim Top says, first thing I heard Richard Hart say was is totally wrong. Chinese stars are awesome. That's probably true too. We used to play with Chinese stars when we were into martial arts back in the day. And that was pretty interesting stuff there. What else we got going? We got Sam in the house. Hey, Sam, good to see another Hex Token channel member with the woohoos. And hi to everybody, says Sam. And PulseX says woohoo. Hey, Sandeep in the house from Calcutta, India. Lots of greetings from Sandeep. Appreciate it. And HODL 4 says, I was talking back to Trudeau ended this career with that move. Be patient and watch it unfold. Canada will not stand for it. Hey, look, that was just ridiculous. Getting the Emergency Act in play, that was full dictatorial powers with that act, and hadn't even been used on other issues. So just crazy stuff. But anyway, we won't talk too much about it. We don't want YouTube to censor the channel. Matt PulseX says New World Order is coming. You will own nothing and you will be happy. That's right, PulseX. G'day, says Brendan. Hey, g'day all, and good to see Brendan in the chat there. Yeah, very cool. Hex Token rocket. Up to the moon. Hey, welcome everybody. Of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And of course, we're going to get into PulseX Sacrifice numbers later in the day. Normally we have it close up front, but we've got so much to talk about. We're going to talk about that and then get up to the PulseX results. And of course, that gives us a chance to get those balances up before we start talking about them. Very cool. So here is the Hex Gold Whale. We've had all the whales at play today, man. It's so good to see the whales at play. It really is cool. Let's jump over to the Hex price. We're up at 19.78 cents. Looking pretty good, eh? So we've actually had a pretty high there, 20 cents and down. But you got to think it looks pretty good because it's kind of holding in this pattern at the moment. And I am expecting it to blow up at some stage. So we're in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, and that's where we're going to stay. As I said, at the top of the Bollinger Bands, which is 95% of the price, we don't typically stay up there more than a couple of days, typically speaking. And that's what happened. We came down on the hourly there. So let's jump back to the daily. It gives us a better bird's eye view. So go back to the daily here. On the logarithmic, by the way, we're still well in the middle. So the logarithmic chart's looking very good for Hex based on my analysis. And so no alarms there, folks. Let us have a look at the price here. So on the daily, we're sitting in the middle of the Bollinger Band. You can see 2 days in a row. And of course, we have about probably about 5-6 days for the bull flag to run out. It is in a bigger bearish trend. But I still think that given the fundamentals, it's more likely to break up than down. So that's the way I look at that. Let's have a look at the structure. Let's pull that structure back in. Bam. And of course, we're in this big triangle here waiting to go out. So there's the yellow is the bull flag. And of course, I do note that we are in a downtrend, but we have a higher low, right? We have a higher low, and that's what we want to maintain in this bull. So I do expect it to break up rather than down and be a bearish flag, as it were. So definitely in play. And I think we've got at least until the 21st of February for this to play out. Typically it lasts about 3 weeks long. So, yeah, well, I think we've got any time in here to really have a nice little breakout. But once again, it's going to take some whales to do that, I think. And we'll see how it goes. Could be a lot of retail buyers could play it out first. But I expect to see a whale come in there and push that up. Since we're at the moment, we've only got a few days left to go to the end of PulseX. So we're going to screen this up. And you can actually see if we go from tomorrow, we're on day 50. Can you believe it? Of PulseX Sacrifice, day 50. That's just crazy. And of course, here we are. We've got 8 days left until the end, folks, until the end. And the last 5 days, of course, is a flat rate 1.75. So we've got 5 days left of the volume multiplier, 5 days left of the flat rate 1.75. If you're a small account looking to sacrifice for the first time, maybe a couple $100, couple $1,000, you're better off not sacrificing today and waiting for day 55. Wait for the day, the 21st of February, to do your sacrifice. That, of course, I do suggest you actually preferring buying Hex over doing that. So it's up to you, though, what rate you're going to get. We're going to look at that later on in the PulseX update. So stay tuned for that. Now, we'll obviously have a contents timestamp so people can jump to the sections after the video. So that's where we're at the moment. And, of course, so far we're tracking pretty well with my price going down here at this stage. These are kind of just general directions. Obviously, no one knows the exact future. There's kind of general directions here. And I am expecting it to break up at some stage. But, of course, this may translate over. I'm definitely expecting this big run up, but it's just about when it happens is the key. And, of course, as we get more information, we'll have a better idea of when this will happen. But at the moment, that's kind of where I feel it's going to go at this stage. So we'll see how we go there. Obviously, if I take this arrow here, and, we might have it busting out here. So we'll see how that goes because, it could bust right up to here. But I'm just being very conservative with the green arrow there. So hopefully we'll see what happens. Obviously, we want to get bust out of this 28-cent range up here. So that's where we want to bust out. That's our big resistance line on the downtrend. But we have held very well this rate here of 18.6 cents. Look at that. We have held that really nicely all the way along here for a long time now. So let's actually pull the ruler out and take that out. So, that's how long is that? That's 223 days, so 2/3 of a year, basically. Pretty impressive, right? Holding that structure. And so that's really actually quite good when you take out the longer time view. So as we were expecting at the moment, we're holding this at the moment, possibly a little bull flag there and possibly more likely to break out in my view. Just when it happens, we've still got up to maybe the 21st to see that happen. Of course, that would be when the flat rate happens. And, of course, the origin accounts come in as well. So let's see how it plays out. So far, so good. Let's jump over to the DMI, which is really our best scenario player here. This is what we want to see. We want to see the buyer's direction line go up here. We want to see the seller's direction line go down. And, of course, we want the momentum of those directions. We want the momentum to go up over 25. And, of course, let's take those away and see where we're at. So at the moment, of course, we had the opposite happening. We had the buyer's direction going up, the seller's going down, but we're getting a little bit of turn at the moment. And, of course, can we build that up over the next few days and get that crossover that we wanted? We thought we might have it back here. Didn't play out, of course. The one thing that was limiting us going down here was the momentum was still falling at 12.58. So that's an important aspect there. We do want that to turn back up. So we'll have to keep looking out for that. That's going to be our big signal, of course. Getting over 25 on the momentum is going to be pretty apex to getting that uptrend and finally breaking the downtrend once and for all. But when it happens, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And, man, that price is going to run. It's going to run hot. And so we're looking forward to that. So there we are, folks. We're at currently 47 on the RSI. And, of course, we've still got a long way to go. If we do have a run up, can go all the way up there. So pretty nice on that. All right, cool. That is pretty much the price review there. Hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know any thoughts in the comments. And we're going to get on to the Hex Token 500, as we like to call it, or the Daytona 500, and with JJ Yeley. And pretty cool. I probably misspelled his name about 5 times. I spelled it Yellen, all sorts of different spellings, but that's just the way it goes. Sodman says, thanks for your efforts and info for bringing every day to the community. Sodman, hey, you're most welcome. And a big shout out to you back in the channel. CryptoPay says Hex holders will own everything and be happy. I like that, CryptoPay. That is a great slogan. And Craig Wellington's got the woohoos in there. Hey, another Hex Token channel member and moderator doing awesome stuff. So appreciate it, Craig. And Rothgo's in the house, 50 down, 8 today. So exciting. It is really, really cool. And Harvey Diaz is in the house. Hex Token PulseX. I like it. All right, so this is where we're at the moment. So this is credit to Crypto Cabana or Cabana Crypto. It did these slides the other day. I thought they were very, very helpful. Obviously, the 15th, we've had the practice run already. That was on Fox Station 1. So that is already run. And we're going to talk about that a little bit today. There's a little bit of confusing stuff, but I think that the announcements are probably the clearest one on this. So we will talk about that. But I've got him, JJ Yeley, at the best training time. But it turns out that he may have come in fourth, actually, after all of that training. But this is only the practice. It's not the single car qualifying that's coming ahead of us. So in the day ahead of us, that's expected to run. That's the one that we want to get the top two. The practice run is a practice run. You know, they're going to zoop up the cars. They're going to think about their strategy and all, and the pit stops and all this stuff like that. So there's lots to think about after the training practice run. And of course, that's where we're at the moment. Qualifying races on the 17th, FS1. Of course, the first two fastest qualifying here out of the 6 races will get in. And then, of course, the rest have to race off, and 2 out of 4 are going to get in, leaving 2 who will not qualify for the races, as far as I understand. I think there's only still 42 out of the 40. There's only 40 spots. 42, I believe, is the case. 36 are already locked in to race. So pretty cool. On the 18th, there's a practice on Fox Station 1. Final practice on the Saturday, and then Daytona 500 on Fox at 2:30 p.m. That is the time there. So that's the time. So big hats off to Crypto Cabana for that. That's pretty nice. 42 car drivers have entered the race. 6 cars drivers, including JJ Yeley, will have qualified the time on a race. This was a couple of days ago. I don't believe that anyone else has entered, but if I'm wrong, let me know in the chat. These were the races. Who are we up against? We're up against number 27, Jacques Villeneuve. And we're up number 44, Greg Biffle. Now, Greg Biffle almost didn't make the training races, but then came in just in the last 15 minutes. We'll talk about that soon. And ended up getting the top time. So my title's not quite correct. I'll have to change it after the live stream. Number 50, Kaz Grella, Floyd Mayweather car is in there too, because Kaz Grella. And number 62, Noah Craigson. And then number 66, Timmy Hill, which is a teammate for JJ Yellen. So pretty much our teammate too. So that's pretty much the way that goes. Here is, of course, the way to win there. I've already gone through that briefly. So there are 36 teams in the charter. They're guaranteed to race at the Daytona 500. And there's 40 spots in the field. At this time, 42 cars in the entry list. So there will be 6 teams vying for the final 4 spots. And of course, the Hex car, JJ Yellen, is one of those. And so the next 24 hours is pretty pivotal for that. Otherwise, we have to race in the following race. So 2 big events coming up so far. So cool. All right, let's jump past some of the slides here. This was JJ Yellen's car racing. I went through Twitter and I pulled up a couple of images. We've got JJ cars racing there. Look at him there. I actually thought he was younger than 45, but he's 45. And his hometown, Phoenix, Arizona, best career finish second in the Coca-Cola 600 in 2007. 18 years in the Cup there. But does the car look fantastic or what? It looks absolutely astounding there. And, of course, he hasn't finished the race. These were the race times at the time. First practice, right? It's got the first practice there, Daytona 500, and so he's racing in there, nice. And then we jump over to the next one. Next one here is got the Hex Token. There's a bit of a closer view of that, bit of a close-up, so nice. And, man, that car looks pretty cool with the black background. Very clear naming, branding with the Hex.com, 55, of course, and Hex.com in the front. That's what you want, really clear branding that pops. 38% APY at the back here. And I noticed that on his cap, there's extra stuff like Pulsechain, PulseX on his helmet, I should say. So cool. Here is the playoff here. We're talking about Tuesday, the first practice, second practice. And did I actually see that on here? See on the first practice there? Yeah, first practice it says. So anyway, so that's it. There's the first practice, second practice. And then, of course, the qualifying for the racing is on Wednesday. So that's coming up, folks. This is the first thing. So hopefully he's got out the cobwebs out of the car, got all the strategy in play, and all the rest of it. It's going to be fun to see. There, of course, is the time. Here's all the races at the moment. First practice here, and we've got all these people that have raced, and of course the top there, Truex Jr. there, and then of course it says here not locked in Daytona 500. These are the 6 cars. The 6 cars there, and JJ Yeley had the best time at the top there, 49 49,455 on here. So it is a little confusing at the timings because my title was based on this snapshot here. And then we have Jackie's Villeneuve at 49.87, Noah Craigson at 49.89, Kaz Gralla at 50.2, Timmy Hill at 50.337, and Greg Biffle did not participate, but apparently he did participate. He came in the last 15 minutes and actually got the best time. So we'll check that out on the next thing. If you know the definitive details, let us know in the chat. So that's what happened there. And of course, then we got someone got some behind the scenes in the pit. So we've got the actual car here, the bus that they've got here. That's got Hex.com 555 on the truck trailer here. I guess is where they carry the car or something like that. It's a big beast. So that was pretty exciting to see. And of course, we got inside one of the garages here, so you can see one of the competitor cars over here, and then Hex.com sitting in here. Very, very cool with people, I guess, in the team there. So it's pretty cool to see that. So there's some extra photos you may or may not have seen. Hopefully that is of some interest. Here, of course, is JJ Yeley on Twitter. This is the official site. NASCAR driver. What does it say? NASCAR driver, Triple Crown champion, father to a princess, and husband to a queen. Racing because football, basketball, bowling, and golf only require one ball. With 77,500 followers. So very, very cool on that. So here is a cool video just showing the car getting ready. It's got all the safety equipment in there. The hood's up. Really, really cool. So pretty. We are 35 minutes away from the first Daytona practice. So this is just before the race. Pretty nice. So you got a lot of people there. Beautiful. Very, very cool. So that was nice from the actual driver. And of course, this is from Motley Investor here. So we're going to jump into this. I think we're going to jump into this one. So I'm going to remove this and we're going to stop sharing and we're going to share this. Let us go to the Chrome and bam. All right, cool. We're going to full screen that and here we go. So you can actually see the first practice here, the races, 21. They've got all the racing times down here. So we've got a lot of the names that have raced the top 30 there at least. Let's have a look at Hex.com. JJ Yellen racing there. Pretty nice. He's up against number 51 there. So cool. Let's watch that.
You buy the parts and pieces from NASCAR, you put it together, you go to the racetrack, and you have the same bucket of or the same toolbox, right? Of tools in it that anybody else does. The strength's always going to be in numbers, but you still have a fighting chance with the same pieces that a big powerhouse team like a Hendrick Motorsports has.
All right. So speaking of numbers, Floyd Mayweather is 50-0. If he wins his 51st fight, does he have to go and get that number from Rick Ware?
So you can see at the bottom there that Yeley came in. He was at the time of the race. Well, they were racing. They're real time moving the times about who's the fastest. And of course, he moved in the number 30 spot there at 49. So that was interesting.
I think car. You buy the parts.
So this looks like just the end of the race. It's got practice 1 on it. So I believe it is practice 1.
From
so
NASCAR, you put it together, you go to the racetrack, and you have the same bucket of or the same toolbox, right? Of tools in it that anybody else does. The strength's always going to be in numbers, but you still have a fighting chance with the same pieces that a big powerhouse team like a Hendrick Motorsports has.
All right. So speaking of numbers, Floyd Mayweather is 50-0. If he wins his 51st fight, does he have to go and get that number from Rick Ware?
Man, I don't.
So that appears to be the end of the race, or at least the end of that lap anyway. So that was 49.73 in number 30. This car was in front of it, 51 was it? And that came in number 15. Doesn't show up here because it jumps from number 10 to 21. But that car, that just shows you how small the gap is actually between getting a top 15 time and a top 30 time. It was pretty interesting based on the gap here, which is not big, right? It's 49. The difference between car number 21 and number 10 on a lap basis, I think, was 49.23 versus 47.36. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Cool. Let me show. Brazoli's got, hey, everybody. Good to see Brazoli in the house. It's 8 p.m. UTC time. I don't know, actually. I'm not sure what time it is there. And Rothko says we're up against no one. They're up against us. Yeah, that's the way. And Daytona 500 is not on Amazon. And we've got Solix says we don't want competition or fight against each other. Only want to drive at Daytona. That's right. Greg says late to the party. Hey, Greg, good to see you. And the white lettering on Hex.com with the black outline makes it easier to read on any color. I love it too, Brother Soldier. I think it's very clear and really pops out. We want to win at all, win at qualifications, win at Daytona, and win Hex, PLS, and PLX. I like your attitude there, Simple Believer. That's what we want. Got to have high ambitions to be a high achiever. That's for true. Tin Top says, I heard the Floyd Money Team car had mechanical problems. Yeah, I don't think it performed as well as we did, so we're going to double check that later. The car is badass. Absolutely is badass. Nice. All right, so cool. Let us jump out of that. That was pretty nice, right? So I like that. There's also another pit image down here, which we have looked at as well. So cool. Let us jump over to, let's jump out of here, and we're going to jump over to the next one. We're going to stop screen there and share. Let us go into the house here. Bam. All right, so we're back, and of course we're going to the next one. Here's a cool image. I think this is the driver, JJ Yeley, here as well. Just looks different to what the first picture I saw of him, but this is him here wearing the outfit. Look at that with the black Hex.com. It looks really pops, doesn't it? Really pop. I thought that was pretty cool, and yeah, looking nice there. And you can actually see a better image there. Look at that, pretty nice. So I love it. So very cool. All right, so that there is the driver. And of course, this was that race around the racetrack there. And look at all these tires, man. There's a lot of resources come to this, man. This is a rich person's game. And wow. But the excitement is there. It is huge. All right, so cool. And of course, all these people here are seeing the Hex.com. And of course, they're going to go, what is Hex.com? Got to check out Hex.com. And so you're going to have a lot of people in these other teams checking out Hex.com. It's going to be pretty funny like that. All right, very nice. Let's jump over to Motley Investor, of course, posted this as well. And this has had the same time here. And you can see that at that time it had do not participate for Greg. But I do believe that Greg actually came in last 15 minutes and run it. So here it is. This is the latest news from NASCAR 500. This is NASCAR.com. And you can see Greg Biffle is a late arrival, but tops among drivers without charters. Remember, 36 have charters. 6 of them do not, including our team. That's the Hex, JJ Yellen. Greg Biffle was the last driver to take the track for the first practice with 15 minutes left in the session. But Biffle, driving the newly formed NY racing team, teamed up with a 2-car draft with another driver who isn't guaranteed a spot on Sunday's race. He and Noah Gragson, so that's they're both the teams that we're up against, were 17th and 18th respectively. Remember, we came in number 30 respectively in the opening practice session. And of course, I think we might have another link there. Biffle and Gregson, both driving Chevrolets, are 2 of the 6 drivers fighting for the 4 starting spots in the Great American Race. The other 4 occupied the following spots in the initial speed chart: Timmy Hill, 27th, JJ Yeley 34th, and Jackie's Villeneuve at 40, and Kaz Krayla at 41. So this is the Floyd Mayweather's car, right? This is Floyd Mayweather 41. So we're well ahead of that car. So that's kind of important, right? Pretty cool. Hill, Yeley, and Villeneuve and Grella confined the activity and practiced to single car runs. So that was a single car run. So that's a difference as well. Baffle hasn't raced in the NASCAR Cup Series in 2017, but he ran and won the NASCAR Camping World Truck. So cool. That is a bit of interesting stuff there. So that looks like where we ended up at number 34 after all the cars that raced there. Let's go to the next side. Of course, this is got the list here. Let's have a look. We're going to go practice. We got practice 1 here. Practice 1. We got the list here. This seems to be the official list. We're going to scrolling down here. 15. We got Greg Biffle at number 17. Noah Cragson at number 18. And let me just find my list there. It's not the one I was after. So if we go back to our list of drivers, so we've got Greg Biffle. We've got Noah Cragson. They got the first 2 spots. And then we scroll down here. We definitely got Timmy Hill is 27. So Timmy Hill was in the list there. Was Timmy Hill? Yeah, Timmy Hill, our teammate, did really well. So number 66, our teammate did really well and came in at number 27. This is just practice, remember, the practice race, but, it is pretty good out of the gates. Then JJ Yeley at number 34 there, folks, coming in as well. And you can see the times there also. So cool. What else we got going down there? And then, of course, we get up to Kaz Grella. That's Floyd Mayweather's team, not doing so well. And, of course, who's the other one there? Jacques Villeneuve. I think we've got that one too. Jacques Villeneuve, number 40. So those we pretty much came in from the looks of it number 4 out of 6. And, of course, the two teammates did number 3 and 4, which is not too bad. That's just practice run. Of course, the real event is coming up, and that's what we want to see. The real event is coming up tomorrow with the single car qualifying, and that's when you've got to perform. That's thing. The first one, if you don't get in the top 2 out of those 6, you will have to qualify in the racing itself on the 17th. So that's pretty much that. So nice. but pretty cool. And what are these numbers at the top here? We've got best speed, best time, delta, and laps. So that's kind of where it's at the moment. So it gives you an idea. 46.696 was the best time on that one. All right, so cool. Let us jump to the final one. And of course, that goes to Blaney and McDowell, top the opening practices at Daytona. So they're actually, out of all the races, they're the ones at the head there, Blaney and McDowell. And we can actually see that at here, McDowell and so forth at the top here. So that's just the way it goes. I'm not going to read out all that. That's just about the training, winning the training so far. Of course, the big events coming up. So cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that update. Very nice. Let's go. Woo-hoo-hoo, says Nepstar. And Greg says, looks like co-driver. Yeah. The car is so sexy, says Paul. Nice. It is definitely looking good. LS says, curious, Hex at 35 billion market cap for price to double to 40 cents. We will need to get 65 billion market cap for that to happen. Or is there a different metrics that make it happen? So market cap is circulating supply times the price, and it just depends what you include in your circulating supply. You're going to get different market caps on different websites, but obviously you need the price to go up to get that market cap going up twice. So cool. Let us get on to the main event. Bam. We're going to get to the PulseX. There we go. All right, so let's do a refresh because it's been a little while. And once again, I'm going to put a timestamp in the video. $971,957,000 sacrificed on the chain, looking pretty juicy. We've got 19 hours and 8 minutes to go until 5% rise. What does it cost you today? 10,000 points. So we've got two components: the base points, 10,000 to $6.39, plus the volume multiplier. In other words, how you proportionally rank against everybody else to get the multiplier. And of course, that ranks between 1 and 2.5. So you get the base times the volume multiplier will give you your total PulseX. And of course, the base points is climbing up there. Day 50, we're on day 50. That is unbelievable. And of course, there we are, $6.39 on the vertical axis, day 50 on the horizontal. As time moves on, we've got about 5 days left to go, or something like that, to the end of the 20th. And the 21st to the 25th, we've got the last 5 days. The volume we move from the volume multiplier ends on the 21st, and then moves on to the flat rate at 1.75. So that's pretty much that. Let's jump over to pulsex.info. This is the site if you want to sacrifice. This is where your pulsex.info. Just follow the instructions. But pretty much if you're doing Ethereum or any compatible chain, sacrifice to OX075 DDC8. Sorry. And of course, all you have to do is send crypto from your wallet to the sacrifice wallet, and the hash ID or transaction ID will record your sacrifice. That's all you have to do. I suggest typically sending some popular tokens or coins, ETH, BNB, USDC, USD Tether, Hex, of course, just something really popular. Make it nice and easy. If you send 2 random altcoins, they may not be qualified. May get discounted. If they've got not liquidity and just rubbish tokens, then I wouldn't suggest using those. If you also want to use Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or anything else like that down here on other chains and on Ethereum chains, then just follow steps 1 to 3. And you'll get an address you can send it to and all that sort of good stuff. If you're a little nervous, to send a little amount and then send your total amount, and you'll be perfectly fine. However, I do suggest at this stage that you're probably better off buying some Hex and getting the copy on the Pulse chain. But once again, it's up to you. Nothing on this channel is investment advice. There we go. Let's get to the main event. PulseX leads. Woohoo! Let's refresh this baby. And here we go. Bam. And so we're at 1,024,598,000. Now this includes Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and the Polygon Matic. So very cool to see that. And we have got 17,194,000,000,000 PLS tokens at the moment, or points as you might want to call them. This is an estimate, of course. And this does not include what we expect the Origin account to come in and get the majority of the supply to act as the operating friend, as we call it. So nice one. All right, so we've got 133,682 wallets now. And that's obviously climbing every day. And we've got 7 wallets over 10 million. That hasn't really changed for many weeks now. And we've also got, if we scroll down, we've got the Magic Carpet Ride team. We like to follow their journey. Sitting at number 21. This is where people around the world group together and sacrifice with a couple of guys in the United States that are running Excel spreadsheets, running YouTube channels, and running telegrams. And of course, they're also looking to sacrifice for the liquid loans with over $1 million on that too. That when it opens. So we're probably expecting it to open maybe the 25th at the end of PulseX is probably the best way of thinking about that. But we'll see. It's coming out any day, they say. Soon is always the word. Soon. All right, so pretty much these guys are getting a 2.14, 2.15 multiplier. Let's see what they've sacrificed so far. So Monday was the last ones they did. So that was that. So Monday they did, we talked about that yesterday, I think. So that's what they did, about $3,000 or so dollars. Let us scroll down to the bottom, the top 100, $1.2 million to get in the top 100, and you get a multiplier of about 1.94 if you're able to do that. Obviously, that really fits the people in the past. That's just the way it goes. The top 500, let's have a look at that. There's probably about 113, 140 millionaires that have sacrificed all up. And we've also got in the top 500, you need $202,843 to get in the top 500. This does exclude big sacrifices like Bitcoin and other stuff. And just take that into account when we're talking about this. 1.68 is the multiplier. Let's have a look at the top 1,000. And as I always say, this is the one, this top 1,000 wallets will be controlling most of the supply, maybe 70 to 75%, something like that. And of course, you need $101,157 to get in the top 1,000. So it's not baby chips, is it? So they're quite decent. And of course, they're getting a multiplier about 1.58. Let's jump over to the final category, top 5,000. And as I always say, a lot of people would have thought they would have gotten the top 5,000 with $5 to $7 grand, but you need at least 4 times that minimum amount. And of course, $20,100 is what you needed to get in there. And you would get a multiplier about 1.33. So that there is the wallets, folks, and the totals. Let's jump to the tokens. We've obviously got Hex at number 1, $556 million US, and of course, what 2 trillion? 2 trillion? No, it's not 2 trillion. 2,178 million Hex, and of course, that is sacrificed to on the Ethereum chain when they get the airdrop. The sacrifice wallet get the airdrop over the PRC20s on the Pulsechain. They'll also have that on there too, and that's kind of you see that off the market. Number 2 is Ethereum at $244.3 million US, USDC at $109 million US, USD Tether $48.2 million, BUSD at $15.6 million, and of course BNB at $15.5 million, DAI at $6 million, Matic at $5 million, AVAX at $3.6 million, and Shiba at almost $3.6 million. They're our top 10, folks. The big themes, of course, with Pulsechain is the total amount of US dollars that got over 600 million. One could see that as an award chest potentially. It's certainly going to be interesting to see what happens with all that. One can speculate about it, of course, but there's many uses that could be used for. And of course, we've also got the second theme is a lot of the dexes people have sacrificed their yield farming tokens, Cake, Uni, Sushi Swap, Quick, and all those goodies. Sacrifice that gives you an indication that yield farmers will be coming as well. So nice. Let's break out the chains. Of course, we've got BSC is yellow, Ethereum is white, Polygon is pink. We can see the top 4, as always, is pretty much Ethereum, and then 5, 6, and 7 is BSC, followed AVAX number 10, and of course number 16 and 18 is a Polygon Matic with USDC and Matic. So nice on there. The other cool thing, of course, I like to point out, did the other day, is that there's about 7.9 million Hex sitting on Polygon Matic, and 1.5 million of that is now in the sacrifice address. I kind of find that quite amusing. That's a big amount of the Hex over there on Polygon Matic. Remember, Polygon Matic is a second layer of Ethereum, so you don't actually own the coins with the layer 1 keys. So it's pretty interesting to see that play out too. Imagine that's going to be probably transferred out there as well. So pretty interesting. All right, so those are the live numbers for PulseX. Let's get into the stats. And of course, we can see that 54.3% of the sacrifice is in X. That's actually slowly been dropping, right? Slowly been dropping, but still holding up pretty strong over the 50% there, 54.3. And that's just the way it goes. Let's have a look at day 49. 566,000 US dollars sacrificed. That's pretty close to what I estimated yesterday, right? I said about $500,000, and that's pretty close to that. And of course, we did 717,000 the day before on day 48. 666,000 day 47, etc. So definitely moved down the ranks here as one would expect. And of course, we're now on day 50. We've got 111,000 so far sacrificed. We could extrapolate that. We might get to 500,000 to 600,000 tomorrow with that number as well if we extrapolate. The day that we finished, the total balances, of course, 1,023,921,000, and of course, we're just slowly climbing up there at the moment. Very, very cool. So that is the results for day 49, and we're in day 50. It's mad, and we're counting it down pretty quick on here as well. There's not much time to go. Let's get to the final table. Here's the PulseX sacrifice results table, or sorry, not results, the sacrifice rates. We're going to scroll all the way down there. Can you believe we've been down this whole journey, and we're getting there. We're getting there. Day 50, all the way down here now already. It's mind-blowing. And, of course, the rate is $6.39. $1 will get you 1,560. Is that 1,500? Yeah, I can't see it properly. 1,566. I think it's 1,566 PulseX points for $1. Previously, you would have got 10,000, and now you are getting. I'm sorry for about the mouse is moving around there. Now you're getting 1,566 So there we are. In the red, of course, it's telling you if you're new to sacrifice, you're wanting to get some PulseX, it's better not to sacrifice today and sacrifice on day 55 because the volume multiplier will end on day 54. The base rates will be $7.76 and the volume multiplier will end. And of course, you're better off on day 55 because you'll get, even though the base rate will be higher at $8.15, you'll actually get a flat multiplier. Instead of being about 1.05, if you're doing a couple $100, it will actually be 1.75, which is pretty awesome, right? So if you compare that up here, that's as though you're sacrificing with a ratio of about 250,000 US dollars. So or something like that. It's pretty amazing, maybe even higher. So pretty cool. So that's your best rate there, 2,147. Definitely going to beat out getting 1566. So you're better off there. In fact, you're better off in every other day there from now on. You're better off. So because it's going by the day 54 at the end of the volume multiplier, that's that second component. It's going to be 1288 for a few $100. Even for the big ones here in the thousands, it's really starting to get uneconomic for them. So if we do day 50, basically everyone in this group, anybody that's getting a 1.1, 1.2, so anyone basically up to about 1.3 or so is better off waiting to sacrifice if you're going to do that amount of US dollars equivalent. So interesting stuff there. Cool. That is nice. Hey, we've got a few people on the spreadsheet there looking good there. So that's nice. All right. So let's jump out of there. That is the totals. That's your PulseX numbers, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And where am I jumping back to? I'm jumping back to the Hex price here somewhere. I've got to find the chart. We're going to close down a lot of these pictures. Let me just close down a few of these just to get rid of some of those. Reduce the intensity as well. Now I have got the PowerPoint for those pictures is in the video description. It's the first one under the title charts if you want to check out those pictures. I kind of got them from around the internet there, around Twitter, I should say. So that's what I did for sure. Let us go into the hourly. Let's get rid of the chart there. So there we are, folks. That's what we're doing at the moment. 19.85 cents. This is where we are. Hey, the Bollinger Bands is widening as well, which is interesting with the big push up that we had in the price. Nice. Hey, that's pretty quiet there in the chat. Far out. I finished so quickly, 47 minutes. Normally it takes me about an hour, maybe an hour and 10. We're already at 47. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the chat. We'll probably end up finishing a little earlier today. But man, what a day. What an epic day we've had. The whales have been active, of course. The highest of stakes, the Rackham, Rochelle funding, all those sneak peeks that we're getting. The Hex God whale, of course, moving with the 1 billion Hex. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. 149,000 T-shares. They are going to be a whale well in the future with that. That is mind-blowing stuff. And holding those T-shares on, imagine how valuable those T-shares are going to be in 15 years' time. It's just mind-boggling, to be honest. It's going to be mind-boggling. T-shares are already falling away. We were over 11 million T-shares, and now we're down to 10.6. In fact, we can pull that up on the Hex Daily Stats. It is mind-boggling how fast those T-shares are going. A lot of people don't even realize. I don't see that many people talking about the X T-share price. They get distracted with all the other shiny objects around. But, you're talking about 20,778. That is going up fast, man. Look at it. It's up 9 out of the last 10 days. That's been up, folks. It really is crazy. It's taking people off. Hex OGs are going to be shocked and awed. So if they're coming out, they're going to restake in, say, 12 months' time. It's going to be way higher in 12 months' time. And, of course, they're going to get diluted in the T-share game. A lot of the small players that are staking out long and medium-sized players staking out long, they're going to be laughing because they're going to have a proportional share. It's going to go up massively and up to the right. So pretty cool. And we've seen a lot of those short stakers, right? Those short OG stakers that are still around. They are dissipating now, breaking up, but they're still a lot there. And we've seen that happen for sure. So you can see, actually, look at that 201 there. We've had some big ones, 236. But it's just crazy. It's just going up 147. It's just going up, but now it's just going up a little bit every day. It's just crazy stuff. 20,778. That's just going to keep going up and to the right. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Of course, it's going to be two. It's going to be one on Pulsechain too. They're going to have their own little different life after they get forked on the Pulsechain. So it's going to be fascinating too to see that play out. What else have we got to say about this? I think that was probably the highlight there. Here is the staking, of course, that we saw. 1 billion and 30 million staked was change in the staking supply. And interestingly enough, that really did impact the stake. We were sitting at 9.5%, and we jumped all the way up to 9.69 with that stake. So, woohoo! Cool. That was a nice move. All right, so that's some cool stuff there. Let us jump out of there. And we're going to jump back to the Hex price. All right, we got Paul's in the house. If everyone holds and decides not to sell under 40 cents, this will double the market cap. Doesn't need another $135 million to input. And Paul says it's the perceivable value of coin, amount of coins that gives the market cap, not the amount of dollars you have pumped. And does that make sense, Paul? Paul says, yeah, well, you actually need economic energy to move the price up. Paul, is the simple way. And the price goes up a square of a value when you're using Uniswap pools. So AMM bots, or AMM pools, I should say. Do you think Richard Hart will say when, if the snapshot has taken place? Tricky one, Netstar. That is $1 million question, or in this case, $1 billion stake question. He originally indicated to give us 1 or 2 days notice. I don't know how he's going to do that now. He sort of started peddling that back a little bit subtly. We will find out. I really don't know the answer to that. I imagine that he may do it, may give us a release time. But that's depending on whether he thinks that people could rug pull projects that he's wanting to do. And I think those are unlikely, thin outcomes likely, but it is possible. But yeah, if people are going to get the airdrop block, it's probably better that he keeps it hush-hush, but we'll see what he does. We'll see. I really don't know. It's a tricky one. That's probably one of the most trickiest questions out there. It's almost like saying what the price be on a certain day in the future. It's pretty tricky to get that. The other thing, of course, is I heard someone talking on one of the other channels about the incentive token for the DAO, and that was the fact that people could be able to stake that, of course, and earn the incentive token on their incentive token, like you do on PancakeSwap. But the problem with that is that PancakeSwap is not Pulsechain, not PulseX, right? We talk about that every day, that it's superior in so many ways, that the fact is a lot of people will want to sell down the incentive token to get these other tokens, right? They want to get PulseX. They want to get, because you can, instead of getting the incentive token, you can stake PulseX probably and get the tech. That's what could be done, as hinted by Richard. And you could actually get that and then earn an incentive token on top of that, you see. So there is issues with the last mile token. Be interesting to see how Richard's going to resolve that. There is a couple of solutions potentially, both on the asset and liability side, as we've talked about. But I want it to be simple. It's got to be a simple solution. I know Richard will take a simple route to solve that issue, and I'm sure that he's going to come up with something for that. But meanwhile, he's in Spain filming, so I hope it depends where he gets time to sit down and think about that. But yeah, I definitely think that's the way. So I actually say, the thing is that people are going to go for Pulse. If you're going to get the incentive token, you want to earn it. As a yield farmer, you want to earn the incentive token. But then the big parties in town are Pulse, PulseX, Hex, and you want to end up accumulating as many of those things. Everyone's going to want to accumulate the Richard Hart tokens, right? Because the system is set up, the buy and burn set up for that, the feed burn set up for that, and of course, liquid loans at the moment set up for the Pulse. So you want to get that sort of stuff playing. So it's going to be fascinating. Somebody, obviously, I saw an interesting post by Liquid Loans saying, imagine if the Origin wallet stakes all the Hex, stakes all the Pulse or into the Liquid Loans, and then they get US dollars out, right, USDL out, and then they go buying up a lot of the tokens with that. So there's lots of different asset-backed plays that could be in play with the Sacrifice wallet, for example. So it is pretty crazy, right? Pretty crazy in that regard. So yeah, once again, I think that strategy about the staking of the instant token is weakened because of the competing assets are so amazing, PulseX and Pulse, that people are going to be clamoring over each other to get those tokens. Even though we'll get price volatility, people are going to be after those big time. So I'm not sure that staking of the incentive token is going to work that well, especially if you're also staking the PulseX to get incentive token. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Property Review says, great show as always, much appreciated. PR, good to see you in the chat, and a big shout back for that. Your camera is looking sharp today, nice HD quality. Hey, appreciate that. Hey, got the nice shave on there, so that's pretty good. All right, so that's some of the stuff I think is going to happen. Picking the block height, I would love to be more definitive about that. Previously, we were expecting it out, but he has, if you've noticed the subtlety, it kind of pedaled that back a bit and then started talking about the pools and didn't want the rug pools to get rugged. But obviously the block height is a massive pumpermental that would make the price rocket. It's one of the two pumpermentals that we're expecting if he did signal the block height. And then, of course, the actual mainnet launches itself, the price is going to go screaming up. And that's where we're expecting to see to see these, the big candles. Let's go to the daily here on the Hex at the moment. So at the moment, we're just talking about Hex at the moment, right? Imagine in the future, we're going to be having 5 price charts in the Richard Hart family. We're going to be talking about Hex on both chains. We're going to talk about Pulse on Hex on Pulsechain, PulseX on Pulsechain, and of course the incentive DAO. We're going to have 5 charts to talk about. It's going to be a busy time for us who are doing content creation. It's going to be pretty mad crazy. So yeah, I definitely think it's in play. Now the launch, of course, the earliest period is between the 5th of March and the 18th of March. But I do feel the fact that we're still on day number 67 or 68 or something of a Pulsechain testnet 2. I do feel that we are on that. Let me just actually, I think I remember the date. So let me just jump back here. What did I say? Was it the 12th? I think it was the 12th of January. We started Pulsechain testnet 2. If I'm right, let me just double check that. No, that's not right. So it was the 12th of November. Sorry. It must have been 12th of November. I just remember the 12th in my head. That's all I remember. I'll let us go. So I think it's that one. And what are we day up here? Yeah. Is that right? November. I've gone too far back again. Yeah, I've gone too far back. That's not definitely not that. It must be this December. I'm not sure what day I got stuck on there, but I got stuck on the wrong day. That's better. So day 66. Yeah, day 66. We're on day 66 of Pulsechain testnet 2. Pulsechain testnet 1 was 77 days. So, we're only 11 days behind that. And then, of course, we are expecting Pulsechain testnet 3. Of course, we're expecting AMM bot harvesting. Of course, he was talking about code being written, and of course, not knowing which dexes they could successfully harvest. So there's a few little technical things they've got to work through. We don't see a lot of that. That's all behind the scenes. So we don't really see much without Richard doing, giving us a disclosure. And then, of course, the PulseX has been worked on. The incentive DAO and the distributions are being worked on. And of course, we see that Pulsechain itself has been going through the roof with the transactions for the validators. That has been going through the roof there. 309 million transactions. Pretty impressive. We're at 3-second block, so that's going pretty well too. All the Pulsechain stuff's the minimum viable product's been delivered. It's we've got the swap, we've got the bridge, we've got the Hex go.hex with the Hex staking on Pulsechain. That's all in the play, and of course PulseX sitting in behind the scenes. It's looking pretty good. So that was Pulsechain testnet 2 has been delivered pretty well so far. We're just waiting for that Pulsechain testnet 3. How long is that going to be? I don't know. 2 weeks, 10 days at the fastest, 7 days maybe at the fastest. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how they've got to run edge cases, right? So typically you're going to think it's going to be at least 3 or 4 weeks, right? So that's what makes me feel, even though this is the earliest date for the launch in March there, we could easily push out into April. And maybe if it's even more complicated, I don't know how complicated it is, but maybe if it's more complicated, could go out further. So at this stage, March to April is kind of where that launch phase is expected, and somewhere in there the block height. We've got let me just go back. Hey Brazilji, well done on the bot smash up. It's now says like it up, folks. Absolutely. And damn, Brazilji bit me. Yeah, nice one. I think the OA is going to sacrifice in 5 days on the 1.75 multiplier. Yeah, that's right, Brazilji. So we are expecting that. That's the next big fireworks coming up, folks. We've got a lot coming up by the end of February. Don't forget, we've also got Richard Hart and the 96-hour Twitter YouTube fest. That's going to be pretty awesome. And yeah, we're going to have all that good stuff coming up. There's so much in February. It's going to be really awesome. Cal says 43 cents by May, hopefully. By May. Yeah, definitely in the house for that. And that's possibly on both chains there, Cal. And we'll just see how that plays out. Obviously, we've got to hopefully that the world economy is pretty reasonably stable at the time too. We've got in March, we've got the Federal Reserve potentially doing an interest rate rise. We don't know whether we're going to have 2 rises or 4 rises. Inflation is going up through the roof at 7.5%. So it's going to be an issue there as well. Brazilji, all-time highs 2 weeks from now. Mark my words. I like it, Brazilji. I like it. And, kind of, that may or may not fit into my chart here. Let's have a see what I've got on here at the moment. So, yeah, I don't even know if I've got that on here at the moment. So, yeah, I think I've got 4 weeks for that. It's now says marked, yeah. So we'll talk about that in 2 weeks' time. So was it Brazilji? 2 weeks? 2 weeks. So let's scroll this up and let's pull up this and let's pull that up. And so we've got 2 weeks. So we're going to put that over there and we're going to make that orange. And let's got the 2 weeks here. let's say 50, let's do 50 cents. And let's pull that up here. We got 14 days. It was perfect. Hey, I put that in the perfect spot there. That's a beautiful thing. And of course, we're going to put a text bar in there. We're going to put the text bar. Let's go. Brazology. 2-week estimate. All-time highs. And of course, what's the date today? Is it the 15th? 16th my time. Anyway, it's the 16th in New Zealand. 16th of February. All right, cool. Let's see how you go there with that one. That is the timeline. That's a lot steeper than my chart there, so looking good. Cal says, what else we got going there? Matt says, sign the contract. Yeah, sign the contract between the 25th and March the 1st. Okay, Brazil wants a bit of a longer time than that. What do we got there? I got the time as, I'm not even sure what day that is because the date's fallen off my table. Let's just refresh this chart. We're cool. Hey, it's cool, kind of cool just hanging out with the Hex Token members for sure and the subscribers. Pretty nice. All right, if you haven't subscribed, smash the subscribe button, hit the like, and hit the bell as well. Get into that for sure. And let us go on this one. So bam, and I think we've got the time frame now. Hopefully we have. Let's scroll this up here. And what date have I got that? That's on the 3rd of March. So I've given you that's on the 3rd of March. I think that's even a bit better now. The 1st of March. I don't even think that's 14 days. Is it the 14 days? That's not 2 weeks. 2 weeks from, I'm just including 2 weeks. That's 14 days. It is the 3rd of March. So I'm giving you to the 3rd of March. I think that's a better. Brazology says, haha, yes, I'm on his chart. Well done. We're not worthy, Brazology. That's pretty cool. And a nice one, Briz. And I'd like to be a millionaire by summer, says Charity. Yeah, nice one. And that can be easier depending on how much you put in altogether to start it off with. When is the address sacrificing? We expect it to sacrifice in the last 5 days. So between these dates. So here, we're expecting to sacrifice between these days. So between this yellow line and the purple line here is when we're expecting to sacrifice. Matt and Barley says, smash the bell for freedom and big bags. Yeah. Hey, I always say this. I mean, obviously, everyone's grown up adults and that, but they don't let them take away our freedoms. Do what you can to stand up for our freedoms because there is big agendas on to do it. It's very transparent, very obvious what they're doing. Yeah, so do stand up what you can, do what you can, obviously. But just a shout out for freedom there. Multi-millionaire by 2023, says Charity. And yeah, woohoo! It's 2 weeks for us living in the past. Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, so nice. All right, so that's some of the good stuff happening there, folks. Hey, we're up to an hour and 2 minutes. That's not too bad. But yeah, I think we covered the top tokens. Yeah, we covered the incentive DAO. PulseX is a no-brainer, right? We're gonna have the biggest yield farming harvest in there. If we get $1 billion in trading volume a day, we get $600,000 of buying without anybody buying. And of course, that's going to be a magical buy and burn. How that plays out, we can speculate. It might behave like a whale. It might try to support a parabolic price rise. It might just buy over time in some sort of time-bound time frequency. All sorts of things, right? And so that's pretty cool. Also, we now have people going to put PulseX in the pools. That sort of kind of quasi gets it out of markets in the sense. And of course, we get people going to be able to stake it for the incentive token. It looks like a big play as well. And once the Origin account wallet sacrifices, right, they will control the DAO. They will control the DAO, incentive DAO. So that's actually a good thing. If you believe in centralized pumpermentals, then that's the way you want it to be. And of course, we saw the Origin account in Hex played a number of hands in Hex. And the biggest obvious one acted in the AA lobby. But a big one, of course, the obvious one that we saw was the big payday. And it went and staked up to something like 98.3 or 4%, somewhere in that ballpark, maybe even slightly higher, which showed you the strength of the AA lobby and everyone else jumping in there. And of course, that protected the big payday from going to speculators, and that was a very good thing. So we've seen a lot of good stuff happen. Obviously, we see the sacrifice addresses of Pulsechain and PulseX as part of that family, brothers and sisters in arms, as it were, and kind of acting as an operational financial management in these ecosystems or these, or these projects however you want to call it. So pretty cool. And we look forward to those operating in the future. And yeah, very nice. We also see the Origin wallet in Hex, of course, staking out to 10 years, and of course regulating a certain amount of inflation, taking inflation down a little bit, getting impacting the APYs a bit, and of course previously the circulating supply numbers helped as well. So a number of activities that it's been doing, and yeah, pretty nice. I love it. It's great. All right, so let us jump over to. I think that was all we're going to do. Actually, well, let's leave it there. We've got an Hex price. I think I've probably ended up on my top stuff there. Jerry says, "Vote with your dollars." Yeah, that's right. And Dingo Wilson house. Hi, Hex Token. Hey, good to see you, Dingo, and as well. So nice one there. I was going to make a joke, but I'll leave the jokes aside. Now, the big surprise to me is how active the whales have been. Rackham Rochelle has been so active, and of course the Hex God whale has been so active, and that's just on top of the Origin account, Sacrifice account family. That there's just a really huge pumpamental. Really is really cool. So fun to see that happening. What else we got going? Don't forget the Hex Expo is on coming up in March with Maddie Allen. 600 seats there. It's going to be massive in Las Vegas. That's between, I think, the 6th and the 9th of March. So if you haven't grabbed a ticket, you are able to make it there. Try and grab one. Hexconference.com is where you can find the tickets at the bottom of the page. What else is coming up? Yeah, we've got the Funding Gym's 96-hour online festival with huge influencers. And, yeah, big debate with Richard. And, yeah, lots of good stuff happening there. That's coming up pretty shortly too. Was it in the next week? I think it is. So that's going to be fun. The 23rd around there is a big debate. I think it's running 21st to 25th. I think it's the day, 96 hours. It's going to be huge. And of course, we've got to get out there and promote those as well. So we've got that happening. Kinetics team, they're doing a lot of educational stuff and Q&As around the Mountain Crypto Lodge. Mountain Crypto Advisors, I should say. They're doing a lot of stuff around that. They've had some open sessions as well. They've got lots of members joining that. And of course, they've been talking about the fees in there. Obviously, that's a professional service for, reasonably wealthy people. So there are fees involved in that. They do give a lot of tax advice and set up individually. So there's lots of stuff like that. They also have been pretty closed with the actual Hex Trust, or they've been a little quiet with that, but they are up to the last mile. They said they're on the last mile legal hurdles there. They needed to have the was it the PPA, I think it was, in place. So they also had to have they've got KYC AML, so know your customer, anti-money laundering, and they're very close to accepting money into that private trust. And of course, they'll still be working on their public trust, and they've got an expert working on that for the SEC. So that there's still to play out with the big money buying on Hex. So that's going to be, I would say, that they are tracking the development, the timeline for Pulsechain, PulseX, and they want to get that timeline right. So they're under pressure from the legal side. I think they're on the last mile, says whales only, and of course they're moving forward. Moving forward to that, so we should start to see some financial impact on that. I imagine they're going to be quickly set up a Pulsechain trust as well, and have both of those running, because that makes a lot of sense, and give access to people to just trade in and out of there. So it's going to open up pretty awesome. So that's all coming this year. It's all coming this year. It's going to be pretty cool, and sooner than later. So those are things that are actually going to be sooner than later. And we've got a busy February leading into busy March. So it's going to be pretty good, folks. It's going to be exciting. We just got to be patient. That's the number one thing, being patient. That's how it plays out. All right, so cool. Let us get back to the Hex price, 19.775. Haven't been able to deliver a green candle. Maybe if we finished the live stream in the last hour, we would have a green candle. It's just subtly red at the moment. We just need it to go up so slightly as we go here. So cool. All right, so let's get in here. Brazolzi says the whales are keeping the price at 19 cents. Man, says Brazolzi. And Dingo also says, was the joke something to do with the baby? Yeah, it was, Dingo. It was, Dingo. A dingo stole my baby. There's a famous story of I think it's a mother and a dingo wild dog in Australia. Apparently, they speculate that the dingo stole her baby, which is probably was a critter out there. I mean, if you've been to Australia, it's full of critters, so it's not unreasonable. It's now got to run for a few. Great stream, Hex Token, keeping it real, and nice one. Woo! Oh, nice one. That's cool. And we've got the money bags in there. Cool. Hey, we're up to 110 minutes. I'll probably finish today there. I hope you guys have enjoyed the live stream. We're about 10 minutes earlier than I normally do, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Hey, a big thank you to everybody. I'm just going to sign off. And I hope you enjoyed all that awesome stuff. Lots of stuff that's happening, and we're going to enjoy it as well. Bam, let us get on here. All right, so next 24 hours is key for our car, our Hex Toner car with JJ Yeley. That is key. That race tomorrow is the big deal. So that is key. Now, the link to that is in the PowerPoint in the video description. You want to check that out. That is the key one to look out. So cool. Let us go. Brownie says, Dan, time flies when the content is excellent. Yeah, thanks, Brownie. Appreciate that. And Matt and Barley says, thanks again. Goodbye, everybody. Yeah, catch you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. If you're a Hex Token channel member, hit some of those emojis on the way out. That's just the way we go. If you aren't a member, of course, check out the join button. We've got Pulsechain, Hexskins, and, of course, Rich Art Club. Get in there, support those. And, of course, subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. And I will catch you guys all tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a good time tomorrow too. So take care. All right, let's see how we're going here. Is that actually ended? I'm not even sure if that's ended. There we are. Let's do a little peace sign too. And we'll do a couple of little woohoos. All right, nice. All right, so cool. Let me just get the chat here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the stream, says Brasology. Cheers, Rothko. Hey, big shout out to Brasology. It's on the chart that we have to remember that for future ones in 2 weeks' time. 50-50, you spot on, says Matt and Barley. Yeah. And that's about it. So nice one there. All right. So take care. Bye for now.